Hey, we're now live. Hello, everyone again. Welcome to Cross Country Live. We're taking 15 minutes every afternoon while we're all in lockdown to talk to a pilot around the world, somewhere in the world. Yesterday, we talked to Jockey Sanderson in the Lake District in England. And today, we're talking to Gavin, the famous Gavin McClurg. Hi, Gavin.
Hey, guys, everybody.
Where are you?
I'm at home in Ketchum, Idaho. We got back here about 3 weeks ago. We were out in California. I was going out there for the month of March to train, and things started getting a little bit weird. And so we thought, oh, it's probably a better idea to be with our pantry and in a place that has very low population density. But our county is now the worst in the country, they know, and they think the worst in the world, even worse than Wuhan in terms of per capita. So it's not crazy like New York or places in Italy. It doesn't feel like that, but in terms of the numbers, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty grim, and we saw some grim figures yesterday from the States. So we're hoping that everyone is staying safe. Are you managing to get out to do some exercise?
Yeah, I'm actually getting out a lot. We've been on lockdown here officially for about a week, but you can, this is really when the ski season is really good. And, obviously we're trying to be very mindful of our emergency care workers. So keeping things really safe, but the trails have been packed and people are starting to do some kind of mellow mountain biking down valley. I'm up valley where it's quite a bit snowier, but went out and skied a couple days ago with Nate Scales. Many of you will know him. And, just keeping things very, very, very safe, and obviously being really mindful of avalanche danger and stuff and not getting hurt. But yeah, I've been actually trying to go outside quite a bit. I'm not flying at all, but I can, I'm trying to just get some vitamin D and spend a little bit every day outside at least.
Okay. Is flying completely banned in the States, or is it state by state?
No, not at all. It's not banned at all. I mean, USPA is recommended not to fly, but it's a personal decision. But for me, I mean, I think maybe there would be, if it's an evening soaring session or something, then I wouldn't feel too worried about that. But I really liked Kriegel's lead there, and I just think I have a few very, very good friends. In fact, one of the guys I'll be skiing with this morning is an ER doc here in town, and our hospital has been hammered, and they're managing it, but it's quite a small hospital, and two of the ER docs of the four were down with COVID, and they're now back at work. But they at one point they lost half their nursing staff to COVID, so I just don't think it's responsible right now to potentially put any added pressure on them.
You had a good season. You had a good winter season, though, didn't you? Can you tell us some adventure stories from where you were? Where did you get to this winter?
It was pretty good. It's interesting, where we sit in Sun Valley, a lot of the storms went south and went north of us this year, which is common. But so we didn't have, I wouldn't say we had a banner season, but it's been solid. It's been definitely good enough. And although I was gone all of January, I was down in Valle for a couple comps, and then down to Columbia for the British, and then back all the month of February. And then we were going to be, and we did a lot of skiing then, and then we were going to be gone all of March out in Santa Barbara, which is what I did last year when I was training for the X-Alps, and we just had so much fun that we thought we'd do that again. And then Maddie was down at the store one day right after Trump gave his talk, where he flipped and went from, oh, this is just a flu and this is no big deal, to, wow, this is pretty serious. And the store had a major run on it, and that kind of freaked her out. So we thought, well, maybe it's time to get home.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned the X-Alps there. I have to ask, are you applying again? The application season is open, or nearly open, isn't it?
Thomas asked me that same thing. I've been doing a lot of podcasting lately. I did a podcast a couple days ago with Thomas Therilow, Kriegel's teammate for 4 years, and then, now does one-day coaching. And he asked the same thing. I still am undecided. In the last, after 2015 and 2017, I was planning it before the end of the race, just was no doubt that I was going to do it again.
Okay.
This one, I'm still really more on the fence. I don't know. Part of it is going to be to see how they manage the turn points. If there's so many turn points again, I don't think I'm nearly as interested in it. And but the other thing is I'm 47 and I'm definitely feeling it. So we shall. I don't know yet. I mean, Ben and Revis, my teammates, and Keith are all really psyched to do it again. And I don't know too many reasons why I wouldn't do it again, but it's right now it still feels a little overwhelming.
Yeah, cool. And you mentioned your teammates. They're one of them. Is it Ben who's the super hot trainer?
Yeah.
So have you got any training tips for us who are stuck in their houses? I mean, people in France, for example, they're not even allowed to leave more than 2 kilometers around their house. So people who like to go running or biking, they can just go out for a really short run, a really short bike, and then, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I hope that that's coming for us too, because we're not seeing any flattening of the curve. And I think a lot of cities are very soon going to be like New York, it seems. I'm not a scientist, but that seems the direction we're headed. So yeah, I think it's good for everybody to be thinking along those lines. Yeah, I do. I haven't talked to Ben about this, but I think even if you can only do the little quick loops outside, I think that vitamin D is really important for your immune system. So whatever you can do outside, do it. I have been doing a lot of just these 10-minute kind of quick hits, and my wife has, Maddie has as well. And, I'm doing sandbag get-ups. That's an easy one. I could even stand back and show you guys. But you basically take a bag, and it has to be a bag that can hold sand. So I'm using a dry bag, like you'd go kayaking with, or you'd go down a river with. And so if you don't have something like that, you can probably create it with something else. But if you use like a garbage bag, it's just going to fall apart. But
what do you
go out, fill a bag.
Can you stand up and show us?
What's that? Yeah.
Can you stand up and show us?
I don't have the bag with me, but you basically would take. So mine's a 60-pound bag, so like a 25-kilo bag, and I would start a little bit lighter than that. I'm going to try to, but you basically just, you pick it up kind of like you would with a squat, you put it over your shoulder, and then you just go down all the way to the ground. I don't know if you can see that, and then come all the way back up. And 5 one side, 5 the other side, and then do like 20 air squats, real nice, if you don't have a bar or something, just very nice form. And then 20 push-ups wherever you're at, it can be 10, it can be more. Just do 3 rounds of that, and you really don't take any break, just doom, 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 doom. And it takes about 10 minutes to do it. And if you do that every day, you're getting a little bit of cardio and you're getting some great strength. It's really, the sandbag get-ups cook your whole body. So it's great for your core. It's great for your everything. It's great for your legs. And so, and it's just enough to get the heart rate going, and and you could do that a couple times a day, or at least once, and you're going to be in pretty good shape. The other thing that that my wife and I are doing is intermittent fasting, and so
I was going to ask you about diet actually, because I'm just eating too much.
Everybody's putting on the COVID-19, right? Where everybody's calling it COVID-19. Yeah, and I've been, a lot of Maddie's friends are like stress eating and stuff, and I get it. I've been cooking like crazy, but if you basically intermittent fasting is just 16 hours window where you don't eat. You can have like a little shot of coffee or something in the morning, but so if you have your dinner at say 6 p.m. at night, and then you don't eat the next morning till 10. So most of it you're sleeping. It's super easy. And then you get up at 7 or 8 or whatever, and you got to make it a couple hours, and then you have a normal breakfast. But we're finding that it's really hard then to eat 3 normal meals. They're just packed together too much. So we're basically having a nice big breakfast, and then a much smaller, healthy kind of lunch, and then a nice dinner, much smaller, more like a snack, like a smoothie or something. But you feel great, you got great energy, and you can't eat as much. You just feel like a pig if you try to eat more. It doesn't work. You don't have enough time to do it. So Yeah, I would recommend that. I've never done a lot of intermittent fasting, but there's a lot of science behind it, and it's something Ben's always taught. It's more in the kind of keto movement, but which I'm not doing right now at all. But I think it makes sense.
Okay. Do you, when I've talked to X-Alps athletes before about their training for the X-Alps, and Kriegel's a classic. He just says, well, they're all, Kriegel, Paul, Aaron. They just say we never stop training. Is it the same with you, or do you build up to the big event?
No, I build up. I mean, I stay. So Ben puts me on a program that he calls Gavin's Plan to not go backwards
Okay.
during the off year. And then we always ramp up for the X-Alps at least 9 months before. So, in the case of last year because it started in June, we started in kind of mid-September. So with the serious training, but yeah, I don't think I train as much as Kriegel. I stay quite fit during the off year, but like today I'll go for a nice ski tour, but it's nothing hardcore like the regular training is. What I have found is the hardcore training is much easier these days. It's a lot easier than it was in 2015. In 2015, it was like, oh my God. And now I'm doing more than I did even for the 2015 race, which I think I did quite a bit back then. But it's, your body adapts. It gets pretty used to it.
Do you guys stay in touch? Do you have like a group of Red Bull X-Alps pals that you're constantly in touch with, or do you just talk to them near the race about the race?
Not so much. Probably Paul Gusherbauer is the one I talk to the most, just because of our connection with Alaska and his little plane, and Kenny, of course, who supported my Alaska thing too. And that's how Paul got into flying, who lives up there in Alaska. So not too much. A little bit Nick Nanens and a little bit Kenny and a little bit Kriegel, and otherwise not too much. Okay. More just if I reach out for them or something for a podcast. We do have a Facebook group that Nick always organizes. Nick Nanens always organizes before the race. That's quite useful. But and then this last year, we started this kind of athlete committee, which was basically the voice for the athletes to go to Zoom. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and that was Tom DeDorlado and
you
myself.
Basically, did you?
What's that?
Did you unionize?
Yeah, we just. Basically, it was just a way to kind of go to them with everybody's concerns rather than having it scattershot. So we would reach out to everybody and, hey, do we need to be thinking about anything as a group here? Are we worried about anything that needs to be voiced? And that was really useful. And then I follow Tom a bit, and he and I talk a little bit just because he's, setting out on a big sailing adventure, and I've done all that. So once he gets out of the Caribbean, then I'll have some advice for him. We didn't spend a ton of time in the Caribbean.
Okay. What was the story you had to, just at the end of last year or something, you had to, because we're working on a book, or you're working on a book with Hugh, and that is hopefully going to be out, later this year?
Gosh, I feel like we're getting close. You'd have to ask Hugh for his opinion, but your whole team is working on that right now. So he's kind of the first editor, and Marcus and Andrew and everybody's working on it. So that's been another really great silver lining of this whole coronavirus thing, is it's keeping me inside doing a lot of writing. So in my mind, we're about 85% done. So we're getting pretty close. So I've still got a lot of podcasts to go through and kind of grab more nuggets and stuff, but we've made a lot of progress on that.
I've only seen the Kriegel chapter, just to sort of look at it briefly.
Yeah.
It's great.
A big quick pitch. I think it's going to be a really solid piece of work. It's been really fun. We're going back to the people that I've interviewed and getting more advice and more tips and strategies and stuff. And it's going to be very comprehensive, kind of the 20 years later version of the Dennis Pagan's
classic.
What is it? Climb with Champions. Yeah. So it's going to be great.
So is there any standout, like 1, 2, 3 things that you've learned by looking back at the interviews you've done? Are there things that keep coming up that you think that is a key message?
A lot, yeah. I mean, we've got the whole second half of the book is dedicated to things that keep coming up. So SIV and ground handling and risk and meteorology and all the thing, intermediate syndrome, expert halo, all these things that kind of keep coming up, wing choice. So a lot of the keeping the passion, I keep rattling them off here, but yeah, and I'm surprised how often there's definitely some big differences in opinion, like Alex Roby with wing choice compared to some of the others, which is fascinating.
What does he say?
I love, but well, he feels like pilots often give up way too much control to this passive safety thing,
Okay.
So he thinks wing choice is much more about the kind of person you are rather than how good of a pilot you are in terms of technical ability. And so, he really pushes, listen, if you're the kind of person who likes to give up control, then yeah, okay, passive safety is one thing, but maybe you shouldn't even be a pilot. It's much better to fly a two-liner and have all the control, even, like he claims he's a very intermediate pilot, in terms of being able to do big ripper wing overs and stuff, but he'd rather have all that feel and all that control and feels much safer on a two-liner. So, very different opinion than some of the others we've had on the show, but it's great to put it all together in one chapter and let people really filter through it and decide for themselves. So, I'm surprised looking back how much it's changed my own flying and my own approach to risk and safety that I wasn't even aware of. People tell me all the time, God, man, I've got you in my head when I fly, thinking about the podcast. And I like that. I think that's a good thing. I'm not saying that from a ego standpoint. I don't want to personally be in people's heads, but I think it's good that people are thinking about this stuff.
Well, it's like, whenever people fly, they always say, "Oh, I've got my SIV instructions."
I don't have any audio on you now.
Oh no. Can you hear me now?
Sorry, buddy. I can't hear you for some reason.
Okay, that's all right. Maybe it's me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah, you can. Okay, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I don't know what to do about it.
We can't do anything. We're at 17 minutes, so we're over. So I'm
maybe you're saying that's okay. We went 15 minutes. Okay. See you, everybody. Bye, everybody. Sorry, I can't hear anything, but that was fun. Thanks, Ed.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right. We're going to come back tomorrow with another pilot. And then over the rest of the week, we'll have more of these great interviews. Thank you very much, Gavin, and see you later. Stay safe.
Hey, I see you just said 90% done on the book. Yes, right on.